All right, I'm back. I changed some things in the description a little bit about this video, and I might try to share my screen to show you how things are going right now with the shooting and the progress and what's happening in Nina and in the with the computer in the dome with my telescope and everything. I have no idea if it's going to work, and like I said, as long as there's nobody in here, then I can't confirm if it's going to work, but I can always rewatch it and be a part of the replay crew, which I'm a member of with a lot of the YouTube channels that I follow. So I appreciate replay crew like crazy. Um, but I can rewatch it back and see if it's actually working. So there's a couple of things here, but while I'm, in this headspace to kind of just click some buttons and see what happens, then think I'm going to try. So let's get on with, so like I was saying in my previous video that was only a couple minutes long because I decided to try doing this a little bit differently. It's a beautiful night tonight. We looked ahead on Astrospheric. It's actually been a really beautiful week. We could have been shooting the last few, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 nights in a row. But like I said in yesterday's video, I just haven't felt totally up to it. I just haven't been in the right place for it. I'm going through a little bit of a low. I feel like the season's bugging a little bit. And, that's just part of the season. I think, we're all just struggling a little bit in some ways. And I think bipolar disorder puts me in a kind of a funky place, whatever. But I'm moving on and moving forward, and we're trying some new things tonight. My husband, I think, is currently working on setting up the small scope. He's got it out there. I helped him. We got the big scope inside. We put the little scope out there. Just not sure, there's got to be some measurements and some things done, and it's cold. It makes it just hard to want to go and do it, but we're trying. I think he's downstairs working on that. So we may get some shots from it tonight as well. But in the meantime, I am going to try to share my screen, and I want to see if I can show you how things are progressing with things in Nina, and on my computer outside. So I'm going to do this, and we're going to see how this works. I really don't know how this is going to work because it's going to look kind of weird, but I'm going to share my entire screen. Okay, so this is obviously that's like a mirrored thing going on here because I've got my whole screen going, but I am going to try to jump over here and show y'all what I'm looking at. So this is my computer outside. I can actually just minimize everything for the time being, so you can kind of see how the base of it is. So this is my computer outside. I've got to clean up the desktop a little bit. It is what it is. But if you go kind of through the sequence of things, this is my power box. This is my Pegasus Astro. And so I've got everything on. I turned it all on earlier, all my outputs, all my USBs. That controls everything from the flat panel, the dome, the camera, the focuser, to the mount and the cameras. So we've got that going. Once that's going, then I jump into Nina and I connect all my equipment here. You know what? Is this still? Yeah, I think that's still cooled. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I had to restart this earlier, so I just want to make sure everything looks good. So my camera is cooling. I've got it set to -10 degrees Celsius, so it's good to go. My focuser is connected. If I go up here and hover over it, it'll ask me to disconnect. I'm not going to do it because I'm in the middle of shooting. My rotator's connected. My mount's connected. My guider is connected, which is running in the background here. As you can see, I have very good guiding right now. It's a beautiful, beautiful night. Um, this is kind of this is the gold standard of what I want it to look like, and it's going really, really well. So we've got that going on. My switch, I've got all my switches on. So this is all the outputs for all of that stuff I was talking about earlier, the dome, the focuser, the flat panel, the polar camera, which I don't use because it's always polar aligned in the dome, but I turn everything on anyway. I've got the camera and focuser here and the mount. And then we go down here, and here's my dome instructions as well. But right now I am in my sequencer. And so you can see in my sequencer that, well, first of all, I did go to a target, and I've never shot the Cave Nebula before, but this is the Cave Nebula. And I did look at some pictures online of it, and I think I could maybe kind of compete with the best of them a little bit with this target. So I thought I'd give it a try. I still do have the L Extreme filter on my telescope. I think that this one is a rich hydrogen alpha nebula. So I think it's a really good one to go for with this particular filter on there in my setup. So I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna go for it until 10:30. Right now it's 7:13 ish. I'm gonna go until 10:30 because after that, I may aim for the Horsehead Nebula with this filter on for a while because I would like to see what that kind of data would add from last year's data of that target. So, anyways, this is the target I went for. I got it all. This thing does kind of weird, but I got it all set up in here. Let's see if I redo this, if you could see it better. We'll see. It doesn't really matter. It's already framed and running. But we can, while that's thinking, we can go to the sequencer. So in the sequencer, I decided I I came down here, and if you go back to my snapshots, yeah, my snapshots, and you go here, the first one that I took of this target was this is a 300-second exposure. And when I looked at my histogram, I really have it very far left justified here as far as all of the data points and the light that it's picking up. So when I started my sequence, I decided to up it. I was going to do 600 or 450. And then I thought, well, I can always change it in the sequencer. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change it in the sequencer. So I changed it in the sequencer. And now we go up to Cave Nebula. This is today, and this is my last one taken, 7:13. That one just finished. And so I'm going to stick with this is a 10-minute exposure. And if you look at my histogram here, it's much better spread. I don't want to go longer than 10 seconds. However, I probably could with my guiding being so good tonight. But I still don't really want to do that. So we're just going to stick with the 600 seconds, the 10-minute exposures, and we're going to stack these suckers. And I'm going to get not quite 4 hours worth of data. I had some things happen that kind of messed me up earlier, and I had to reboot some things. So let me see if I can get my screen to stop sharing. I think I stopped it. So that's kind of what I'm going through step by step tonight. I'll keep an eye on my guiding throughout the night. I've got other things that I want to do. I'm in the middle of some crochet projects. I've been doing some Christmas crochet projects. Gosh, one of them is right there. I think I might step out so I can bring it up to you and show it to you. It's so stinking cute. Hold on 1 minute. I'm sorry. Leaving live is not very professional, but I'm not a pro, so you have to see this guy. Okay, so I'm back. So this guy, let me scoot my screen back just a little bit. That's better. Yeah. So this guy, I got the pattern off of Etsy, and I found this lighted necklace. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm kind of far away from the mic. Apologies. I found this lighted necklace at a craft store nearby. So instead of crocheting the lights, which when the battery dies on these, I might end up doing anyway, but he looks so cute when he's sitting. So I'm just going to turn the computer to look at him. But look how cute this little guy turned out. Oh my gosh. Look how cute he is. He's so stinking cute. And he looks like he's made a mess of all the lights. So anyway, I've got more. Let me move him over here. I've got more crochet stuff that I want to get done before it gets to be too late in the holiday season. So I'm going to go work on that. Also, our 3D printed village. When we're done with that, I will have to upload a video of that here because they are so cool. The gingerbread house is by far, I think, in some ways the coolest. Maybe it was because it was the first one we did and it's bigger than the others, but it's so stinking cool. Oh, I got people in here. How great is this? Look at this. Hi. I'm just gonna go with JS Wyman. JS Wyman. I hope I said that right. Hi, good to have you here. I don't know how much I was just showing here while you're here, since I have somebody to share this with them. Look at how cute. I was showing my my recently crocheted reindeer little guy. Look at this guy. Let's see. Look how cute he is. And I found this little lighted necklace at a craft store nearby. So I'm not doing crocheted Christmas lights on this guy quite yet, but after the battery dies, I will. Merry Christmas to you too. It's a good season. It's so fun to actually have somebody on here to get to interact with. How cool is that? Yay! I'm so glad you're here. I was just going through, and I'll go through it again if you um if it, who okay, here in the chat here, who wants to see the imaging that I'm doing tonight? I already went over it once, but so you don't have to backtrack, I can go through it really quickly again and show it to you what I'm working on tonight. So if you want to see that, just say yes in the chat box, and I'll show you again the cave nebula that I'm working on tonight. Oh, thank you, Nate, for the compliment on the cute reindeer. That was such a fun little thing to do. I don't know that I'll make this guy again. It was really, really hard. That one really cost me a little bit of sanity. All right. Well, we've got a Shure in here. Yeah. Okay. I'll show you guys since I've got a little bit of a crowd here now. This is so fun. I'm so glad that I have people. Yay! Thank you so much. Welcome to all y'all. All right. Well, then let's go back here. I'm still learning StreamYard, so it could be a little rough. So we're gonna and if this doesn't work, actually here, let's do this first. Okay, let's do this. I am going to do this. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and I want you to tell me if this works. Okay, I want you to tell me if this works for me to go into my dome computer outside. Okay, if you guys can see this, I want you to say, yes, I can see this. If you can see this right here, I want you to say yes in the chat box. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to have a look at it. And then if you guys can see it, then we're going to continue because I don't know for sure if you guys are seeing it. Okay, perfect. You're seeing it. Great. All right, then we're going to go back. So we're going to go back to my computer. So this is my computer outside. I decided to shoot the Cave Nebula tonight. I've never shot it before, but I still have the L Extreme filter on my gear. And so we're going to give it a literal shot here. We're going to give it a try. The way that my computer looks when I start for the evening is like this. And I have a sequence, an order of operations that I have to go through to get everything powered on. So I start with my Pegasus Astro here, and I turn everything on in the power hub and the USB hub. And then that way, when I go into Nina and I go to my equipment, I can go to my switch and connect it here, and then everything is all in alignment with it. So I can start going ahead and connecting my camera, my focuser, my rotator, my mount, my guider, which is running in the background here. And you can see my guiding is stellar. No pun intended. Okay, fine. Pun intended, whatever. It's stellar guiding tonight. So that's going really well. And then you can see my dome control. So what I did is I went to framing and I got myself framed from my stellarium here, and I kind of adjusted a little bit how I wanted it framed. So I kind of moved some things around, and mine's a little bit wider of a view than if you were to do a search online for this cave nebula. Mine's not going to be in the center like this. I actually kind of off centered it a little bit, but let me show you my two exposures that I took. So I started with a 300-second exposure. I wanted to see what a 300-second exposure would look like with this guy. So let's go to my snapshots. And today is the 7th. And here is my 300-second image. Let me make it bigger. It doesn't really get, kinda. That works. So that was 300 seconds. But if you go to the histogram here, you can see everything, all the data is very left justified on here, which means that I can push it a little bit more to let more light in. So I was gonna do 450 seconds. And then I thought, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in the sequencer and do a 10-minute exposure. And then if I need to adjust it from there, I can. So now I'm doing 10-minute exposures. So let's go to the Cave Nebula, today's date. These, so far, I've only taken 4 of them. As you can see, I started at 6:43. I'm going to shoot until 10:30 because after that, the Horsehead Nebula and Orion will be up. But this is my latest image. And this is a good way to show how you want to see if your guiding is working for you too. So this is a single 10-minute exposure of the Cave Nebula. And I'm pretty excited about this. I think I'm actually going to get some neat data on this guy. You can zoom in and see that my stars are really nicely rounded. All of the things in the picture as far as the I guess you could say not really the flatness, but the cohesiveness of the noise. That's even a really good sign. I think I showed you already in my equipment here. I've got my camera and it's cooled. I've got it set. It's negative 10 degrees Celsius. It's staying down. So we got some stuff going on here tonight, and I'm hopeful. But yes, this is what I'm sticking with. I'm going to stick with the 10-minute exposures, and we're gonna see what we can get out of this. So, um, I think that's. Let's see. Let me get that distraction away and go through all of you guys. The aperture, Dibbler, the aperture on my telescope, I believe with my reducer on there makes it a 5.9 or a 6.1. I'd have to do the math. I use a William Optics 103 and native, I believe it's a 7.1. And then I have is it a point 0.8 reducer? Is it a point 0.8 reducer? See, now you got me doing math and this is not my forte here. I got to think about that. I'm pretty sure it's a 5.9. I think it's a 5.9. I'll have to look a little bit closer at that. But I'm pretty sure. Yes, it is a 103. It's William Optics 103. I believe, well, I know with the reducer on it's a 568 millimeter focal length. So gosh, yeah, I'd have to look up how to do the math on it. It's been a long time. So yeah, sure thing. No, happy to pass out all the information that I can. It's yeah, the tracking, the guiding is going very, very well tonight. That's always something that's worth keeping an eye on. Here, let me get some stuff out of the way, and I'll get better at even like putting up your questions here, like what aperture are you using before I respond. I want to get better at, keeping up with you guys. So this is great practice. I really appreciate it. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. Guiding scope. I believe the guiding scope that I'm using is the mini scope. I want to say it's the ZWO mini. Let's see what it comes up as when I do a quick search. Yeah, it's the 120 millimeter ZWO mini scope, and it's great. I I love I don't know. I love my setup. It works really, really well. The mini scope works really, really great with the 103, with the William Optics 103 anyway. That works really great in combination. My husband uses different stuff because he's got such different equipment. And like I said, he just went out the door again. He's back out in the dome. I don't want him to get sick because it's kind of cold out, but he's working on getting that little scope set up. So uh Oh, awesome, Dibbler. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the horse head tonight around 10:30. So, we'll see what happens. But with my husband's that he's putting in there tonight, I don't know if we'll get any images tonight, but with the framing that we're gonna have, we'll actually be able to get the horse head and Orion Nebula all in one shot. And with your 60 millimeter, you should be easily able to do that. So yes, please, whatever you get, if you want to share it with me, just email me at the bipolar astrophotographer at gmail.com. I would love to see your images, whatever they are. I just want to see what kind of stuff you're getting. We're all like kind of doing the same thing. So it's so much fun to share each other's like views and equipment and everything that we're doing. I would love to see that. Um, Oh, so awesome. You've got I assume JS Wyman, you've got do you have here? Let me show this up here. You said you have that. I'm assuming that you're talking about the ZWO mini guide scope. That's what we were talking about. So yeah, it's a great one. I love it. I went out there today and it was all dusty. My husband, and that was another reason so we've got a pretty big yard, right? And where my dome is like further out than my husband's. My husband's like, we've got a deck right here, and then his is right past the deck, but then mine's further out and kind of down this way. And there's still, from the Albuquerque low that we had, like in November, we still have snow and ice and everything out there. And so I was a little bit worried that my dome was still kind of frozen over. So in order to even get in my dome, I have to put on my serious boots and go tromping through the snow and the chunky ice and everything, get the door open. And I got in there. Everything was so dusty. I feel guilty because it's just been something that I've just kind of, you neglect things when you're in a weird, funky place, and I kind of haven't been out there in a while to check on it. So But I did. I got out there. I dusted it off. I took the time to care for it, and then the fact that everything just came up and went running off without a hitch, that's a very good sign. I haven't totally forgotten what I'm doing, so that's great. So well, guys, this was so fun to have some people in here. I guess I should ask. I don't know how many of you guys are still in here. I don't really know. Oh, here, I need to stop sharing my screen, I guess. I don't really know how to tell how many people are in here, but if you have any questions or anything else you want me to address before I take off, sorry, my shirt is kind of funny. Before I take off for the evening. And yeah, I'll be back on hopefully in the next day or two, sharing some of the the pictures that we get from tonight, whether he gets any or not, doesn't really matter. You have to start somewhere. We needed a change. His big scope is great, but it does have with it some limitations. And it's really great in like galaxy season, which is in the spring. And so while we're in a different season, it's just so great to try something new and get a different perspective. I don't want to do mosaics. I don't know how you guys are with this. I told my husband tonight, I don't wanna do mosaics. I don't care to learn how to do that. Maybe someday I will, but it's so much time and patience that I just don't know that I have it, especially at Christmas time, you know? Oh, but, yeah, so anyway, I think this little scope out there giving us a broader view of the sky will really be a nice change. I think we're really gonna enjoy it. Oh, my backyard camera's coming on, which means my husband's about to come back in the door. Um, well, I'm so glad you guys enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. What a neat way to have a live stream tonight and have some questions for you answered for you guys, and to kind of get have communication and get to share some of what's going on currently inside my dome. And I'm gonna go check on him and see how things are going with him. So you guys have a wonderful night. Oh, thank you so much, Dibbler. Yes, you too. Stay safe and warm. I'm glad you enjoyed this live stream. I just really feel less nervous weirdly right now, like after having people in here. I just feel so much less nervous doing this. This is great. I this was kind of a Christmas gift. I needed this. So, and I told you in the previous video, I want this to be our channel. I don't want to I don't want this to be I don't want this to be me just doing me stuff. I liked this engagement. This was a lot of fun. And I am, a little, oh, hey, Keith. Oh, no worries. I'm just about to get off for the evening, but I went through some stuff. You can be on the replay crew. I'm definitely going to be a part of that crew. I want to see how this went. But this was fun. Yeah, this felt like a little bit of a gift. My spirit has been a little bit lifted. So thanks, guys, so much. Have a great evening. When I have some stuff to share, I'll be back on sharing it. And now that I'm figuring out how to do it live, there's going to be a lot of lives coming. So I'll try to do some more scheduling of lives so you guys can keep an eye on it so you know when it's going to happen and have your YouTube notify you for it. All right. Okay, cool. Well, you guys have a great night. And as always, self-care is not selfish. Bye now.